Anakin's turn to the dark side. The long-awaited event that stirred the imagination of fans for over 20 years. And while Revenge of the Sith is an almost unanimously beloved film, there are a few critiques that pop up now and then, chief among them being that Anakin's fall is too fast, meaning he goes from a good guy 1 second to taking out fellow Jedi the next with little to no apparent motivation. As if Lucas thought, oh, Anakin needs to hunt down and destroy the Jedi, so I better cram that in here. So, did Lucas rush Anakin's turn without any clear motivations, sufficient justifications, or valid reasons to trust Palpatine? Or is there a method to the madness? Let's see what we find when we take a closer look. Anakin is haunted by the guilt of failing to save his mother, and subsequently reluctant to conquer his deep-seated fears of losing Padme. Instead, he has promised to stop loss from ever happening by seeking the power to stop death. Soon after learning Padme is pregnant, he has a nightmare of her dying in childbirth. Now, certain that Padme is going to die from causes science and medicine can't prevent, he vows to deliver on his promise. And so, after hearing Palpatine's tale of a Sith Lord who had possessed this power, he's decided to try and find it. Later, after having informed Master Windu he's learned Chancellor Palpatine is a Sith Lord, Anakin was instructed to remain in the council room while he and 3 other Jedi Masters go to arrest him. However, while Palpatine was revealing all this to Anakin, he was also luring Anakin into protecting him with the promise of being his pathway to this arcane power. So, desperate and unable to conquer his fears of loss, Anakin can't help but defy his orders and rushes off to check on the situation. When he gets to Palpatine's office, he sees Mace has subdued the Chancellor, who then decides to shoot Mace up with his lightning. Then, because of Palpatine's tremendous power and control of the courts, Mace decides, for the greater good of the galaxy, that he needs to make an exception to the Jedi Code and destroy Palpatine while he sees a chance. But of course, amidst this stalemate, while it's Anakin's chance to choose which direction the galaxy will go, depending on the balance within himself, he does not want to lose Palpatine and his knowledge. So, forced to make a quick, snap decision and gripped by his fears, Anakin has an emotionally impulsive reaction and cuts off Windu's hand before he can deliver a blow to the Chancellor. Palpatine takes the opportunity to finish Mace off, and now Anakin is complicit in the murder and has trapped himself in a situation with no foreseeable way out of. Anakin knows he's not powerful enough to fight Palpatine, and he can't run away or return to the Jedi. All of these choices would be suicide, not only for Anakin, but they would also doom Padme, as far as he's concerned. So, with nowhere else to turn, he decides to double down on the selfish path and at least try to salvage the situation and make it all worth it by learning the power to save Padme. He therefore, albeit reluctantly, pledges himself to Palpatine and his teachings. He doesn't care so much for the join the dark side hoopla, as he says,
"Just help me save Padme's life. I can't live without her."
He's not planning on remaining a Sith apprentice. He's kind of pledging himself with his fingers crossed behind his back, hoping to find a way out after he learns the power. Now christened as Darth Vader, the new Dark Lord of the Sith, it's time for Sidious to deliver on his promise of the power to stop death. But this is when he confesses he actually doesn't have this power, but that working together, he and Anakin can discover it. And so now, the big question is, if Palpatine doesn't actually possess this power, why does Anakin continue to go along with him? Well, with Sidious being a Sith Lord, of course he obviously wants this power too. I mean, what Sith Lord wouldn't crave immortality? And though it is a setback to Anakin's goal, with no other options available, just knowing Sidious wants this power as bad as he does, Anakin can feel rest assured that Sidious will do everything it takes to find it. And knowing they need each other to achieve this mutual goal actually bolsters Anakin's incentive for teaming up with him in hopes of finding it. Because if Sidious needs Anakin to help him, he knows Sidious will keep his word, and that they'll have each other's backs and won't double-cross each other. So they have formed a pact. And Anakin knows he was conceived through midichlorians, so if it could have been Palpatine's master who was behind that, then naturally Sidious is the best bet at knowing where to even start looking. You see, basically, even if Sidious did have this power, telling Anakin he doesn't, and that they need each other, would be the wiser, more tactical strategy. This is where not knowing the power actually works to Palpatine's advantage, because now Anakin will be willing to do Sidious's bidding while they work up to finding the stop-death power, which is the carrot Anakin will chase, confidently knowing Sidious isn't just using him to do his dirty work, only to then just kill him off afterwards. At least until they discover the power. But do they know this power is even possible to find? They may not have proof this power exists, but trying to find out is better than not trying at all. And with Anakin's unprecedented potential in the Force and in their arrogance, they believe they can find it quickly. Also, it seems Sidious's master, Darth Plagueis, may have made some progress in the manipulation of midichlorians. And Sidious sees the birth of Anakin as proof that they are getting closer. And why wouldn't Sidious, the epitome of selfishness, want to continue on the shoulders of his previous masters to find immortality? I mean, from Palpatine's perspective, if it's possible to create life, it only stands that one could also sustain life. In fact, seeing Anakin as possibly being the product of their dark magic, Anakin is likely the one with the potential to make the big breakthrough. Palpatine wouldn't have gone through all this trouble if he didn't think he and Anakin had a shot at it. And in this regard, Palpatine needs Anakin.
I beg you.
So, does Anakin feel manipulated? Of course, although he does understand why Sidious did it this way. He may have done him dirty, but Anakin realizes it was the only way to break down his defenses and get him to go along with this path. And Anakin, of course, also understands that Palpatine is evil. But at this point, he's willing to accept that if it means saving Padmé's life. Still, Anakin is conflicted about all of this, and is having serious reservations about this path he's starting down. But Sidious begins to alleviate his misgivings by justifying his choices, and getting him to see discovering this power as fulfilling his destiny. This will be Anakin living his life of significance and conscience, and going above and beyond the ordinary Jedi to finally find the ultimate way to help people. And that maybe it was the Jedi who were causing the imbalance by not going far enough to help people. And with Anakin's unprecedented potential and his conception through the Force, combined with his unwavering desire to help others and protect loved ones, he starts to buy into it. And now Anakin is, of course, eager to get cracking on finding this power. But before that comes Anakin's first task as Sidious's new apprentice. Knowing the Jedi will be coming for them any minute, they must act quickly to catch them off guard now and eliminate them. And of course, Anakin's conscience is still nagging him, and he's not thrilled about this task at all. But knowing the Jedi will be coming to stop them and to take over the Senate temporarily in order to ensure a peaceful transition to a new chancellor, Sidious again alleviates Anakin's reservations by creating a convenient cover story by spinning it into the idea that the Jedi are going to kill the senators and take over the Republic, and that they are making a preemptive strike to prevent an ongoing civil war. Anakin agrees with Sidious about the Jedi plot so as not to rock the boat with his new allegiance. By trapping himself in this situation, Anakin is now committed to whatever hope he can find in saving Padme, so he must go along with anything Sidious says. They both understand the Jedi plot is not true, but they both also understand it as Anakin's convenient justification to eliminate the Jedi and restore order. It's the exaggerated cover Palpatine will use with the Senate, and that Anakin will use to justify everything to Padme and to himself. It might be hard for her to swallow, but he's running out of options, and an upset Padme is better than a dead Padme. Doing it for the good of the galaxy and for her is the only justification he's got for her here, and in his desperation it's going to have to work, or at least he'll make it work. Whatever last-minute changes took place in the edit, this moment is still necessary so we can see the justifications they're making. We need to see Anakin rationalizing this evil, even though he knows it's wrong, to get what he wants, as this is how a good person goes bad, which is what Lucas wanted to depict with Anakin's fall. We need to see how Anakin shifts his moral compass and convinces himself he's doing the right or necessary thing, but to serve his own greed. This final version all still works story-wise and is even more streamlined this way. And to kill two birds with one stone, Sidious also says killing all the Jedi in the temple in cold blood is what will supply Anakin with enough of the dark power he needs in order to be strong enough to unlock the power they're looking for. And Anakin knows from his own experience with the Tuscans, especially the innocent ones, that committing dark acts in cold blood gives one a power boost. So when Sidious tells Anakin he needs to do this to gain enough power to learn it, he believes him and knows he won't be able to learn the spell unless he does this first. Again, Anakin knows killing the Jedi is wrong, but because he wants the stop-death power so bad, he's going to follow through with it anyway, and do whatever it takes to gain enough power to save Padme. Then, once he and Sidious learn the secret, in his newfound strength, his plan is to then destroy Sidious and set things right again, and rule the galaxy himself the way he wants to, which is yet another justification in continuing down this path. And Sidious knows this is what Anakin is thinking, because of course it's Anakin's rationalized plan B after joining him and getting what he wants. It's a surefire way for a Sith Lord to recruit a new apprentice. Once they find this power, it's game on. After all, this is the Sith way. Anakin is caught, and now the only way out is deeper in. So we can see Anakin's motivation through all this has been solely to save Padme. So as he goes to the temple to destroy the Jedi, he's not motivated by a burning desire to kill them out of a sense of some personal vendetta or hate or revenge. He never wanted anyone to get hurt. The tragedy is he only did it because he felt he had to save Padme. It seems some people assume Anakin was supposed to be motivated to turn against the Jedi by an urge to get back at them for all the times they wronged him. And yeah, of course, there are times the Jedi didn't do things the way Anakin would have liked, but still, those aren't his motivations for doing this. His initial motivation was only to seek the power to stop death. What he does do is use his frustrations and resentments towards the Jedi to push himself to follow through with this task, as he has to act on negative emotions without mercy to tap into the dark side. But no, he never thought they deserved to go down. And no, Anakin didn't inexplicably become evil and bloodthirsty. He didn't suddenly decide he wanted to kill Jedi. He was controlled by his fears, which drove him to do something he knew was wrong, but forced himself to do it anyways, to try to keep his fears from coming true, wrapped up in justifications. So, to carry through with this, he has to force himself to overcome his inner conflict, but not for the good. He has to force his anger and hate to overtake his good conscience. He has to undergo this sudden, drastic change. He has to convince himself he's Darth Vader. The quick 180 is the point, the horror, the tragedy. And it's important to remember there's a very good reason this is all happening in rapid succession with no time to mull it over. It's not hours or days, this is all happening in minutes. If he had time to think it over, he might change his mind. Sidious has to offer something Anakin wants and force him into making a rash decision. It's a slow burn of grooming with a quick yank. You see, Anakin, as with anybody, has to be drawn into becoming evil with a carrot on a string.
What did you say?
They must be seduced by the promise of the thing they want most, even if it's a good thing, and they have to convince themselves that whatever they have to do to obtain it is the right thing, burying their empathy and conscience along the way. He doesn't embrace evil for the sake of evil. He partakes of it in the name of good. It's a cautionary tale and easier to do than one might think. This is the roadmap individuals and groups go down when they turn evil. But yes, once he kept slipping down that slope, he fell into the dark side spiral of craving more and more power. The irony is, he thought he was finally achieving ultimate freedom, but only became more a slave. And yeah, we know Anakin has killed innocents once before, but we would never imagine there'd be any reason for him to willingly repeat his mistake and cross that line again. So cold, so calculatingly. It's a shock and a pity because he's done this before and shouldn't do it again, which is why Padme is in such disbelief at the news of it. She had faith in Anakin to be the best version of himself after that point on Tatooine.
This is where the fun begins.
But by the time he kills the Separatists, he's now enjoying the evil for its own sake and getting a sick thrill from the dark deeds, thus the yellow eyes. And the more power he craved, the more paranoid he became that everyone was going to try to take it away from him. So by the time Padme and Obi-Wan arrive on Mustafar, he feels he's been betrayed and seeks revenge, all while doubling down on his rationale that it's the Jedi who are evil. And that's what's so horrific, watching this good-hearted person commit these evil acts, knowing they're evil, but convincing himself it's the right thing to do, convincing himself out of what he sees as necessity to save Padme, foregoing the greater good to protect his own personal world, but in the name of the greater good, all out of fear of loss and guilt from failing to save his mother. It's not so much just walking away from Palpatine that Anakin needed to do there in the office. More so, first and foremost, it was mastering his fears. That would have been his way of avoiding this mess. Until he does that, his fears are controlling his actions and he's at their mercy. And it's Palpatine who holds the cards. Anakin had to come to terms with the forces of nature and accept the things that can't be controlled. But he was manipulated into thinking he's powerful enough to stop change.
What do you mean?
Anakin's virtue was compassion, and protecting his loved ones. But his vice became doing whatever it takes to find the power to keep them forever. Anakin was supposed to help Mace subdue Palpatine. That was his calling. Instead, he was conflicted with what he thought he was supposed to do to honor his family, when honoring his family would have been to just follow his calling. By not letting go of his attachments and conquering his fears of loss and change, he set himself up for desperation and vulnerability, and the choices he made ended up being the thing that caused Padmé's death. But more on that on my next video. So, as we can see, Anakin was manipulated over a number of years in such a way that he would be susceptible to falling into Palpatine's trap in a moment of impulse. He then fell into a self-serving plan B and then felt he had to see it through, as Lucas says in the Episode 3 commentary.
This is the first time he actually has a chance to think about what it is that's happened. And the tear here says that he knows what he's done, but he has now committed himself to a path that he may not agree with, but he is going to go on anyway. It's the one moment that says he's self-aware, that he's rationalizing all his behavior, he's doing terrible things, but in the end he really knows the truth. He knows that he's evil now, and there's nothing he can do about it. I mean, that's really the moment where I think the pathos of him getting stuck in that suit is real, because if he had to do it over, he probably wouldn't do it. But he can't stop it now.
All of which I feel is much more compelling than just getting mad and seeking revenge. And the thing is, if that's what fans want, that's what they got with the Tuskens, which was the gateway to his turn. And they get it again after Anakin has succumbed to the dark side, with his fight against Obi-Wan, as he continues down the slope of justified evil until he forces everyone to turn against him, and he loses it all.
I have the high ground!
I also see some people ask, why was Anakin's fall over family and love? Well, because his redemption was. And that's what life's all about, isn't it? So, tell me what you think about Anakin's fall. Was it too fast? Did it make any sense? Thanks so much for watching.
I did some terrible, terrible things.
Terrible things.